That Brooklyn has an amazing food scene is no secret. So when I wanted to do a Brooklyn show this year, who do I tap? Some of my favorite Brooklyn foodies, rising stars. Well, stars already. Jordana Rothman, who I met first at Time Out New York, and now you're freelancing and you're busier than ever. And Daniel Krieger, who does almost all the photography for Eater New York City.
Most of
a bunch for the New York Times, but all food-related stuff.
A lot of food photography, yeah.
Tell me what we have on store today, because we're going to try and hit a bunch of spots.
Well, today we're taking a little tour of Williamsburg, which is, of course, probably the most exciting area in North Brooklyn right now for food and drink. We're going to eat some incredible brisket at Brisket Town, and we're going to learn how to make chocolate at Mass Brothers Chocolate.
The ultimate bearded Brooklyn artistes.
We're going to visit an amazing ice cream parlor, Oddfellows, New York City.
And then we're going to hit up Maison Premiere for some amazing oysters and delicious cocktails.
And we're going to end in Gowanus, a place I'd never been to until you told me to go there and try that restaurant, The Pines, which I did. So that's what's on the docket today. Brooklyn 101 with two of the best Sherpas available.
I'm Mike Colameco, industry insider. Been in the business my whole life, and I know what it takes to succeed. Each week we'll take you into real kitchens, filmed in real time. Backstage passes to a day in the life of chefs, restaurateurs, and their teams. The competition's fierce. Careers, life savings, and reputations hang in the balance. These are my people, and this is their passion. And that's what's next on Mike Colameco's Real Food. Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Cola Vita, a true Italian.
What goes into King Arthur flour can't be measured in a single cup. Thousands of recipes, plus products, and other baking resources are at kingarthurflour.com.
From Wellshire Farms comes Lou's Garrett Valley Naturals, a collection of our recipes made from minimal ingredients without added antibiotics, hormones, nitrates, nitrites, or artificial ingredients. Lou's Garrett Valley Naturals.
A heritage preserved over centuries with passion, craftsmanship, and care. The flavor of European pork and beef. The taste of European tradition.
Mancini, maker of American fire-roasted peppers.
Imported from Italy, Anna Pasta is made from 100% Italian durum wheat semolina and pure spring water, slowly dried to cook al dente. Recipes online at cento.com.
I'm leaving my beloved Manhattan and heading into the world of ironic lumberjack beards, beanies, flannel, and tattoos. Yes, Billiesburg, Brooklyn. That's where we'll be spending the day. And don't worry, kids, we'll leave. We'll leave tonight and we'll go home.
Brisket Town.
We're here at Brisket Town. Nice pick. Tell me why you guys chose this place.
I'm really interested in New York City as sort of a barbecue town, and I think that, like everything in New York, it's sort of stealing the barbecue traditions from around
the country.
around the country. You think about the big barbecue places in New York, and I think they tend to be sort of all over the map. It's like we don't just kind of like take, often, Texas-style barbecue or North Carolina barbecue. It's like we steal, the tired and poor from all of those places, And for a long time, New Yorkers didn't really know to distinguish it.
The type that we look at is the sort of German-Czech region, which is in the central band of Texas. A lot of people say it runs along like I-35. And yeah, it was primarily Czech and German immigrants that had meat markets that then started smoking some meat that was going bad, and eventually tables turned. People were more interested in getting the hot meat than the cold cuts, and barbecue as we know it in Texas was born. The short story is that I was making videos about food and traveling the country. Took me down to Texas, was there for a lot of time. And really, while traveling the country, I was eating barbecue, but it wasn't until a visit to Louis Miller Barbecue in Taylor, Texas, that my mind was just blown. It was like where once I was blind, now I can see kind of thing, I didn't know that barbecue could be that good or that my mouth could taste so much.
That's insane. That's ridiculous.
Daniel happens to live next door to close friends of ours, and I remember when you were doing your brisket labs in your apartment, like there were a few times that I kind of like went sniffing around, like I was like Lady in the Tramping, like I wanted to have like a little scrap thrown at me and you would not let me try it.
No. Because?
It wasn't
there.
It wasn't there.
I think it was there.
Had to
but
perfect it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heavier than it looks. All right, so Brisket Town, they don't do their smoking at the facility. They smoke here in the middle of this shipping container in South Brooklyn off of Flushing Avenue, basically in like a parking lot in an industrial area. Inside there is a shipping container and a custom-made Texas barbecue rig that Dan hauled up from Texas years back.
I really think that the people that excel at barbecue do so not because they have some secret. There's no secret. The secret is learning how to cook with your cooker. And that's it. Whatever that device is that you're using, I think that the people that excel are those that really understand the flow of that. It was really just practice and trial and error, and we did like 32 labs where we cooked hundreds of pounds every day and went from really mediocre barbecue that would to stuff that was a little bit less mediocre that we were kind of getting happy with. And so we like, you know, kind of cobbled a bunch of ideas together and ultimately using social media sold a ginormous amount of barbecue online to strangers who didn't know if it was real or what they were getting themselves involved with. We sold around 3,600 pounds of brisket at $25 a pound in 48 hours.
And you were pretty much an unknown commodity. You could have been a
yeah.
kid living in a phone booth in Times Square.
Right.
I'm gonna do a quick Instagram shot of the brisket before we eat it, and I want to get that natural light, so I'm using the light from the door here. I mean, look how gorgeous this is. He's not doing like 20 different things on the menu, and he focuses in, just really makes amazing brisket.
Collard greens, potato salad, our bean salad. So the top part is the fatty brisket, and then the bottom is the flat. So you're eating the lean side. The lean side of the brisket is much, much more difficult to prepare. It dries out very quickly. It oxidizes very rapidly. You know, you should be able to hold it up and it shouldn't fall apart, but if you just gently tug at it, it should come right apart.
You kind of respond to the lean brisket, sounds like the same way a lot of other chefs talk about offal.
Yep.
Like it's a sort of like, there's a challenge to making it. It requires technique and finesse to make it perfect.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
It kind of like blew my mind. I mean, it's just so beautiful what he's doing and so careful and, you know, just really well curated. The man is just doing good work.
Next up, Nass Brothers. This is a great call. They are like the chocolate gods right now.
They're like the Willy Wonkas of Brooklyn, you know, like they have an incredible operation out here and they're just super passionate about what they do.
We were always doing culinary experiments in our apartment. It became like a little hub of homebrewing beer, curing meats, making cheeses, all that kind of stuff.
Making things from scratch, just doing it ourselves. Yeah, we got fascinated by chocolate because nobody really knew how it was made, and we sought out to find out how to make it from scratch in our apartment.
We're sourcing cacao from all around the world. I mean, Belize right in front of you, Dominican Republic right here, Papua New Guinea, Madagascar. This is kind of our little family of farmers right here.
You're not only single sourcing these beans, but you're traveling to the farmers. You're meeting the farmers. You're like kicking the tires to that extent.
If you're really treating chocolate as being a true culinary experience, then you have to get to know your farmer, just like if you're running a burger joint, you want to know your farmers and where your beef's coming from. I'm outrageously biased, but we source the best beans in the world.
There's this crazy tree, and it's a big, ginormous pod.
The pod will be split open, and inside you'll see this citrusy white pulp with all of the seeds. And this started as the seeds of a cocoa pod. The next step is fermentation. They will ferment in their own juices with wild bacteria. You know, I mean, this is a very natural fermentation.
And it just starts on its own. This is a complete, like a wine that isn't like a good organic wine where you still have the native yeast. The fermentation is completely natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And then everything is sun dried. So it's really exciting. And then it comes to us to be roasted and processed into chocolate.
So you'll sort through these, pick out anything that looks like an imperfection, anything that's slightly off, onto sheet pans, into that little double door freaking convection
Just
oven.
using a convection oven, which,
Period.
you know, my background is I'm a New York line cook. So why treat it like anything other than something that needs to be delicately roasted in an oven? You know what I mean?
These beans have already been roasted. These are actually from Madagascar, so you'll even see there's difference in coloration from beans from Belize.
You gotta hold them in your hands and smell these right here. Get some in your hand, crack them up till you really bring it out like this. I mean, really just crunch them up. And all that roasted goodness is just gonna,
Oh my God.
you'll dream about this.
When
I
you
mean,
get to do this. Wow.
You'll be smelling it on your hands for the next week. So we gotta take these shells off. This right here is gonna crack the beans, so all the beans will go up in this little hopper here. The beans get cracked through here. We rig this up to a vacuum in this room. The nibs on the inside are heavier than the shells, so they're gonna drop straight down, and this will pop off the lighter shells. This is a good reminder we keep around here about how the Maya made chocolate. You would have put the beans on here, added a little bit of cane sugar or honey, and you would grind it into a paste, the metate.
Ooh, that's what it's called?
Yep. We kind of have a mechanized version of a metate. It's stone on stone, it's stone ground with continuous, slow stone grinding. You're looking at two granite stone rollers. They're kind of keeping the flow of the chocolate while they're also reducing the particle size because they're resting on a bed of granite stone also. So it really is like we saw that metate, like you really are just using two pieces of stone. We've just mechanized it, and this just preserves so much of that amazing flavor.
This has this like incredible fruity intensity, and each one of these smells slightly different, and they're all in different stages. It's literally like smelling wine. It's really intoxicating.
Chocolate's ready. We'll empty it out and actually age it in these bins. We find is it really allows the chocolate to breathe and it opens it up.
Tempering is really a process not unlike steel, believe it or not, steel or glass. This aspect of chocolate making, this is what everybody does. You know, this is universal. This is the chocolate shop. We have a saying around here that everybody at Mass Brothers is a chocolate maker, and here's a perfect example. This is our new accountant spending her first week making chocolate before she gets to sit at her desk.
You're gonna miss this, man. You're gonna be.
You know, this chocolate has inclusion. So there's a curation to where this stuff comes from, and you know, it makes you start to think about it in deeper terms, like almost wine-like or coffee-like or whiskey-like terms, because there's so much complexity there.
Let's start with Madagascar. But Madagascar is just a favorite of craft chocolate makers nowadays. It's just have so many of those notes you guys experienced before, all of the fruity notes, the sour notes.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
It's just beans and sugar. You know?
Yeah. That still blows my mind.
They're sort of a quintessential Brooklyn artisan in that way. I mean, they're curious people who wanted to sort of explore food ways and find, you know, scratch ways of making food, and it grew into this, you know, sort of mini empire that they have going. It's remarkable.
This really blew me away. Congratulations on your meteoric success, and well earned, man. Well earned.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, keep up the great work.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
No, awesome.
Great to meet you too.
Mass Brothers at a store near you.
As a pastry chef, ice cream's always a large part of your repertoire, and it seems so much easier to pick something and focus on it, not trying to reinvent it, but at the same time trying to make it as interesting as you can.
You have this brilliant pastry chef mind who now gets this new box of crayons to play with called ice cream.
Right, it's not vanilla ice cream here. It's like, you know, he's doing like things with tarragon and miso. It's really exciting.
So we have burnt marshmallow, extra virgin olive oil, peanut butter and jelly. This is something we just came up with today. It's a Neapolitan. It's liquid nitrogen frozen strawberry ice cream and chocolate ice cream that's been shattered and then folded into vanilla, so it worked out.
Is this the PB&J?
Yeah, it's just got chunks of jelly in it. I take the jelly and freeze it with liquid nitrogen. It's just the chunks of the jelly texture that you really want. It's not like a flavor, it's an actual unctuous jelly, you know.
Grape?
It is grape.
Classic.
It is. I was gonna mess with that one. We have a chorizo caramel, and that's the infusion after the base is made with chorizo. And it's also swirled through is a caramel made with chorizo fat, butter, and heavy cream.
Biggest surprise for me is the chorizo one.
It's really cool, right?
Really, I just couldn't wrap my head around what it was going to taste like.
You wouldn't be the
Because I
first.
kept thinking like sausage and grindy and grain.
It really ends up being more of a paprika kind. It's a smoke that's I don't know. It's a very dynamic. It's a dynamic fat. It's not really as meaty or gamey, if you will.
No, not porky at all.
In the first 45 days, I had done 40 flavors. which is ridiculous. Like, what was I thinking? That was selfish on my part, you know?
I don't know, sounds like fun.
It was fun, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people are missing out on flavors because they just go, next. This is the miso butterscotch with cherries.
Yeah.
The miso cherry butterscotch is awesome.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, isn't it?
It's so good.
It was that butterscotch from Taylor that was just awesome on everything. So shoving it into ice cream was not even second guess.
It's just a great combination
salty
of flavors.
and perfect.
What about Ice Cream Jesus?
Ice Cream Jesus was a very fantastic eBay purchase. A couple weeks ago, first person got offended. They said, this place is great, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. A little offended by the Jesus thing. So we say we don't mean to offend anybody, obviously. It wouldn't be done on purpose. Why can't Jesus like ice cream?
You're like a demented Ben and Jerry's.
Well, the first part's definitely accurate.
I discovered Maison Premiere on your Facebook page.
On my Facebook
Because you'd be raving about it, and you'd be Instagramming it. Because you guys, I'm on Facebook with both of you guys, and I'm like, where is this place? And I'm like, to talk about why you love it, because you're my curators today.
Well, the first thing that you said, Instagram, it's probably one of the most beautiful places in the city to photograph food and even people. It's just the light is amazing, the texture on the walls is just like perfect for photography, and it's just such a gorgeous restaurant. It's really transporting. That's one of the reasons I love it, and obviously the food and cocktails.
The concept originally was to be a kind of a craft cocktail bar. And then the research brought us to New Orleans, and we based the history of the space on some of our favorite places in New Orleans.
Talk about what the clientele, what it's like, because it's young, it's smart, and they're foodies.
We definitely get a lot of clientele from Manhattan that are adventurous, that are coming out here, or like love raw bar and love oysters. And then you have the original hipsters that were out here, definitely, I think, support us, and a lot of young people.
So we have a nice selection of cocktails here at Maison Premiere, and we like to be able to cater to a range of palates. We have this great cocktail. It's a New Orleans classic called the Creole cocktail. It's rye whiskey with Benedictine, and usually it's Ameripicone, but Ameripicone is something we can't get here in the US. So what we do is we make something we call the House of Mare. It's our proprietary blend of Amaros and bitters, and so that's where you have that really bitter component coming in there. It's definitely going to be a little bit darker than the typical Negroni, but it's Maison Premiere.
I think I'm going to like it.
But we're going to start out with 2 ounces of the Old Overhaul, half an ounce of your Benedictine.
And Benedictine, remind me again, because I remember this has been around since I was a little kid. Is it a cognac based and then sweetened and it's
yeah, with lots of herbs
and
stuff. It definitely builds it out a little bit better in terms of the bitter profile,
Beautiful.
going against that grain of the whiskey. You definitely find it in a couple of New Orleans drinks. And then 3/4 of an ounce of the House of Mare. And then just a couple dashes Angostura. We're going to throw in some ice so we can get it to that optimal chilled point.
And you chill the glass.
Get your glass nice and cold. And a nice brandied cherry for you. String this off.
What's the name of this again?
It's the Creole cocktail.
Creole cocktail. A New Orleans classic. Ah, that's damn good. You could put down a few of these, I think. Oh man.
This is like a mini grand.
Mini grand.
We have some great oysters from Canada, as well as the West Coast and East Coast. The Canadians, this is a Canadian oyster.
This little
in
guy.
Effingham, yeah.
That one's going to be very creamy, milky.
Yeah, it almost looks like a West Coast oyster. Creamy, cucumbery, sweet, briny. Oh man.
And we have like 34 varieties, like every day practically.
Seriously?
Yeah. So this is like a lobster. This is from Nova Scotia. It's very sweet. It's a firmer lobster, firm shell lobster, so it's a lot sweeter. It's right before it becomes a hard shell lobster.
Oh, so it's right between being a cheddar and a hard shell lobster.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right, and you'll see the color difference too in the meat.
Huh.
This is a cucumber soup with raw ruby red shrimps and all different types of cucumbers, Salida cucumbers, lemon cucumbers, some avocado. So it's just like kind of like a nice little
Cool, refreshing
for the
summer.
Yeah,
It's
but not
perfect.
too heavy.
Perfect. Slamming.
So here we have our duck
Oh.
from Long Island
Beautiful piece of meat.
with some summer beets, some cherries, and some chanterelles.
And it's just sauteed and then goes in the oven for a couple of minutes, or just sauteed on the stovetop?
The duck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know something? I'm coming here thinking it's like an oyster bar with a cool cocktail program, and I'm walking away saying it's a great oyster bar with a super wine list, great cocktail, and a full-on kitchen.
Maison Premiere is a really great restaurant on a whole lot of levels, but they do one thing that I wish somebody else in Brooklyn would pay attention, actually make that everybody else. They do service. This has one of the best front of the houses I've ever seen in Brooklyn. Hey folks, take note please.
This is lovely. I mean, this will get me on my bike coming across once or twice a month. $1 oysters.
It's a destination
It's
place.
a classic place. It's beautiful.
One of the reasons I wanted to come to the Pines is because I just think it's such a creative restaurant that doesn't really exist out here. Angelo, the chef here, is just doing these amazing pastas. He's just very creative and kind of pushing the boundary, both with the type of food that he's serving and also the plating. I think the plating, visually, I really just love it. Even the cheese plate, just the way it looks, does not look like almost any other restaurant you're going to see in this area of Brooklyn.
So, Williamsburg blew up, and then Bushwick got hot, and Gowanus is the next Bushwick. I'm thinking, is that the kind of time frame we're in New York now with the restaurant world?
I think the time frame in the service industry is wherever the rent's cheap enough to where you can commute and still be feasible. This is its own neighborhood to the extent, but it's still so close to everything else.
Yeah, you're real close to downtown.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty much just I feel like it's a 2-block neighborhood. It's a destination restaurant, but it's also, it's feasible for us to open a business in this neighborhood and not rely on foot traffic and not rely on, kids that want to spend $6 on dinner.
On a burrito,
yeah.
right.
We could actually do something that has integrity and sustain itself.
The menu's full on solid. I mean, the menu, I looked at the menu and went, serious freaking kitchen. Every dish is well thought out. This is like serious food.
Okay, so this is our cucumber dish right now. It's just a almond milk, and it still kind of just sticks to the plate. It's seasoned just with a little bit of salt. So that goes on the bottom. Then we have 4 types of cucumber, all compressed differently with lime juice, olive oil. These are peeled with yuzu, and then these are just small raw cucumber that we use. Then the almond milk again is set with gelatin and smoked with hay. It has like this really awesome smoky flavor and really cool texture.
Yeah. Creamy, delicious, cool, and smoky.
So what we do is we just cut a few medallions of this. It almost has the look of a scallop, depending on how you cut it. It's really straightforward.
What kind of caviar?
This is American sturgeon right now.
So I've got salt, I've got sweet, I've got fish, I've got smoke.
And you have the cream from the almond milk. And this is sea blight, which is foraged from Maine. It almost has the texture of a sea bean. Just to kind of like add to the seafood and nut flavor, it's just neutral oil infused with vanilla beans. That's it. That's the dish.
So this is a classic summer dish.
Yeah.
It's cool, it's celebrating summer produce. You know what, we're just gonna pop this whole thing like one giant slider. That's really good, dude.
Really good.
Clean, nice harmony. Totally cool, I love it.
So this next dish consists of cherry, chocolate, and tobacco. It is a pliable chocolate that we plate differently every single time. I think the last time we decided on how to plate it, we told the new guy to close his eyes and turn his back and just use the squeeze bottle. A little bit of cherry puree. Then the tobacco panna cotta. It's American Spirit organic tobacco in a rolly pouch. It's actually steeped into the cream and made into a panna cotta. On its own, the tobacco panna cotta leaves the same experience as tobacco. So slightly numbing mouthfeel with the tongue. Eaten in large quantities, you become lethargic and relaxed.
What's the herb?
So a little bit of mint from outside. Cherry bark and cherry sorbet. A little bit of cherry bark oil.
All right, I'm gonna stick a fork in it.
That's the dish.
Cool, man. Tons of texture. Acid from here. Chocolate's great. The tobacco. Can't say I've ever had that before.
You seem a lot more relaxed right now, though. Way more relaxed.
At the Pines, Angelo Romano is creating universes, on the plate. I mean, it's avant-garde, it's beautiful, it's artistic.
Can I steal that line, creating universes on the plates? I like that.
I paused on that one, so let's play that back. Creating universes.
Steal my
Cut her
line.
out, I'm going to say the same thing.
You can't steal my
That's
line.
my line now.
Obviously, there's a lot of talent coming into this neighborhood now, but Brooklyn has its own vibe now. So how would you describe what's going on? Because it's so
Yeah, I mean,
dynamic.
it's sort of neighborhood by neighborhood. There is more of a chance to sort of incubate ideas, I think, in Brooklyn. I mean, I wouldn't say that the rents are so much lower than they are in many.
Not anymore.
Many things have changed so much, but there's an experimental spirit here, there's a youthfulness here, and these neighborhoods that are exploding are still very much in flux. So I think people are patient in the sense that, you know, they're willing to give a place a try that's maybe a little bit, you know, outre or a little bit experimental. You know, we're sitting right now in the Pines in Gowanus, you know, just, you know, a few, you know, treacherous sniffs away from, like, you know, the canal. And, you know, the place is full, it's packed, I mean, and people are really responding to it because there really, to be honest, isn't that much else here. So as the neighborhood grows, you know, it grows with it.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for today's curation.
Thank you for having
Pleasure
us.
to spend some time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Have a drink, a toast,
Cheers.
and break some bread.
Cheers, gentlemen. Let's do it.
Till next week.
Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Colavita, a true Italian.
Imported from Italy, Anna pasta is made from 100% Italian durum wheat semolina and pure spring water, slowly dried to cook al dente. Recipes online at cento.com.
La Baleine sea salt, naturally crystallized by the Mediterranean sun and wind on the coast of France. A heritage preserved over centuries with passion, craftsmanship, and care. The flavor of European pork and beef, the taste of European tradition.
From Wilshire Farms comes Lou's Garrett Valley Naturals, a collection of our recipes made from minimal ingredients without added antibiotics, hormones, nitrates, nitrites, or artificial ingredients. Lou's Garrett Valley Naturals. Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, from her all-natural extra virgin olive oils and balsamic vinegars to her stock in a box, designed for preparing meals at home.